Bonjour, je m'appelle Andy ou Anthony et je viens de Brooklyn, New York. Euh, Maintenant, je suis dans l'école qui s'appelle Trinity College pour le théâtre et la danse. C'est important que je dise à vous que j'ai parlé français pour une année. J'habitais dans Paris le printemps qui passait pour 5 ou 6 mois. Alors, mon français, c'est... It's not all there. So, I'll be talking in English and French. D'accord. Qu'est-ce que c'est l'hip-hop? Euh, pour moi, l'hip-hop est très important maintenant parce que c'est un mouvement. And I kind of question if it was always that way. But I know that for a long time, quand j'étais enfant, that for me, it had a lot to do with what it meant to be masculine, very much so. I know that a lot of people kind of, take their own perceptions of what is hip hop, and I guess that's what this video is for. So, when I was younger, in addition to growing up in predominantly Puerto Rican working class in Brooklyn, being a man in that family meant a lot of things, and a lot of those main things had to do with kind of what you would see in the rap videos. The respect that you would get from the simplicity of, and of course it's not simple, having a lot of money and making sure that you were fucking bitches, and making sure that when you communicated with those bitches, that it was clear that you were on top because you were of a certain gender. Most importantly, you couldn't have traits of that lesser gender. So I think like growing up, it kind of was hard for me to relate to hip hop. Although I can say that I was one of those kids who sang and who knew all the songs and who went on with all of the hip hop and who watched the videos and who knew this and that. But I did know that there was a paradox between what was being portrayed in these music videos and what was actually happening in the hood. It wasn't fun to try to spend all your time going after money and this and that. Um, I think that as I have grown into the man I am today, as I've grown into kind of the appreciation for my sexuality and the appreciation for what masculinity I hold and what femininity I hold, um, I see. I think hip hop has become something that used to be a plight on my life, I guess so to speak, just because it was a catalyst to, you know, the ways that my uncles would, give examples as to how I should be. It's transitioned from that to me considering it a movement, and a very important movement, because I think that right now we're in a time of transition. I think we moved from kind of the 80s into very early 90s, where we were active and we were about using our hip hop for like this and for like, for saying something. And then it became commercialized and profit came into the mix, and we had, 50 Cent and Ja Rule and Exhibit and this and this and that and cars and, all these things that are happening. But I think right now that in addition to moving out of a state of apathy, how many people in my generation between the ages of, I guess, 19 and 25 are actively doing anything. I think that we're moving into a space where you have artists like Lupe Fiasco, and you have artists like Kendrick Lamar, who goes with Some Question, and you have people who aren't as mainstream, who are talking, who are saying things, who are being real, and I'm excited and I'm hopeful, and I think that unlike any other movement, excuse me, it's not going to be perfect. This movement, um, But I think that we're going in a good direction, and I am very excited for what's to come within the next, I guess, 5 years. And I just hope, I very much so hope that we continue to go upward, as cliche as that sounds, because it's very important for us to understand that, like, the more that we segregate each other and the more that we zone each other, the more that we police each other into being something, is the more that we constrict ourselves from, like, fully loving one another and fully be able to say that I love someone else. I'm a man, and it shouldn't take from me to be as feminine as I am to tell another man platonically that I love him, or for me to be able to cry in a space and not feel judged. Yeah, so I think that was mostly in English because I'm still intimidated by French, but I think hip hop is a universal thing right now, and very proud to say that I'm from New York with that. So yeah, that is what hip hop is to me.